Welcome to the Dental A-Team podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental A-Team podcast. Hello, Dental A-Team listeners. This is Kiera, and you guys, talk about an epic day today. Welcome to podcast number 500. You guys, I can't believe that that's 500 podcasts that the Dental A-Team has made. That means you could listen to us every single day for an entire year and not get through all of the podcasts we've released. That's insanity. Thank you guys for being a part of this journey with us. I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined 500. And I'm thankful I never imagined 500 because that would have felt way too scary, way too daunting for me. And I don't know that I would have enjoyed thinking about that. And so today to be here at 500 episodes is pretty surreal. It's pretty remarkable. Halfway to 1,000. Wow, that's insane. And we did it in just over 3 years. I'm talking just barely. We started the podcast in 2019, went through 2020, 2021, and here we are at 2022. It's crazy town to think about it being 3 years old. But at the same time, happy 500th episode. And for the 500th episode, I was just thinking of a really fun way to bring this about. Like, what would be something that just feels epic and diving into it. And I decided let's do 5 hot topics that have come through the podcast in the last 500 episodes. So these are some of my favorite topics. There's quite a few of them in there. So I just want to let you guys know with 500 podcasts, that means there's a lot of content. I'm talking, you could listen to me every single day for almost 2 years type of content. It's bananas. It's crazy. So just so you guys know, with that said, guys can always head over to thedentalateam.com, click on our podcast, and there's a search bar. So if you want any topic around case acceptance or hiring or hygiene or associates or onboarding or scheduling or phone scripting or dental assistance, whatever you want, anything you're thinking, type it in there, and then any podcast that we've ever recorded that's got that within it will pull up for you. So we've also started to transcribe all of our podcasts. And so with that, it's going to have a more relevant search for you. So anytime where we've talked about it, you can have it all right there. You also can copy the top bar when you do a search. Let's say I search case acceptance. I can just pull that URL from the top and I can actually share it with my team. So if I've got a new treatment coordinator coming on, everything on treatment coordinating, case acceptance, I can just copy all those podcasts in a very simple URL link and send it on over to them so they can listen to it. So I just want to let you guys know that's definitely going to be your best bang for your buck. Also, if you haven't started on episode 1 and you want to binge on me, go for it. There's so much information in our earlier podcast, so much information that's been put out there. Guys, knowledge is power, but it's only power if you execute on it, in my opinion. So are you executing? Go back. Yes, we will keep creating more content, but if you haven't even implemented, go back and listen to some of those really, really powerful podcasts. I think in those top 5, one of the best ones that I have, these will be my top 5 favorite podcasts that we've ever released. And the number 1 is Don't Break Up With Me, How to Control Cancellations. It's one of the first podcasts I ever recorded, and I loved it because I still think it's relevant of thinking about how to control cancellations. Instead of asking, do you want to keep this appointment today? Let's assume that they do, and let's use verbiage that would relate with that perfectly. So I would think in the terms of, let's get you scheduled. What can I do to help you keep this appointment today? Period. Stop. Pause. But don't let people break up with you. So often people, when they call in for cancellation, are like, oh, okay, let's just move you on off the schedule. Wait, what? If I were coming to you and we were dating and I said, hey, do you want to break up with me? I would never say that. So the idea of when somebody cancels on you, thinking of it as a breakup really can help you think in terms of they're breaking up with you. So definitely go back into the archives If you're having struggles with cancellations, which I know most offices are due to COVID, but there's even things to do with COVID, push them out 2 weeks. Most of the time, they're going to be better by that time. If you don't have space 2 weeks out, guess what? You can always put them out and then put a note on it of when you can pull them forward. But really utilizing that verbiage of controlling cancellations. We ask them, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. What's going on? Pause, listen, see. Then create a solution to their true problem. Podcast number 2, that's a favorite, is going from 30% to 100% fluoride acceptance. That's right. I love this podcast. It was done with one of my favorite hygienists, and she talked about how she is a hygienist, listened to the podcast, and she was able to take her fluoride acceptance. This is a hygienist working in a practice just like you. She was able to take her acceptance of fluoride from 30% to 100%. She gives her specific verbiage on how she was able to do it. The verbiage of, as the final part of your treatment, I would recommend a fluoride therapy. It's $42 out of pocket, and I have bubblegum or mint. Which do you prefer? Truly implementing that verbiage helped this hygienist help way more patients. I am a fluoride advocate through and through and through. If you're not, that's okay. We are still friends. But this hygienist was truly able to take what we teach on the podcast. She was able to implement it, and she was able to execute and be able to help more patients. So definitely, if you have not listened to that, go check it out. Then another top favorite podcast is Assisted Hygiene with Dr. Deren Flesher. Dr. Deren and I chatted on the podcast of how to actually implement assisted hygiene. He is one of the most elite practices, meaning his hygiene department produces more than his doctor department does. They have figured it out, and they run it on assisted hygiene. He also operates on a 3-day work week that rotates. So he works 1 week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 12-hour days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday the next, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday the next. So he's technically open all 5 days, but they're not working all 5 days every single week. He's really been able to master how to get that assisted hygiene in play, how to bonus the assisted hygiene. And where right now in COVID times, I think it's one of the most elite podcasts that you should go listen to. Take notes, figure it out. There's a lot of great content by Dr. Deren in our podcast archive. So just search his name. He talked about bonus systems and how to implement bonus systems in your practice. Just so much wisdom, but I definitely have loved the assisted hygiene. All right. The next podcast for you is the insurance verification one. There's a few of them out there, so you can pick your favorite one. But insurance verification, how to do it the easy peasy style. Talking about how you really put an asterisk of the group of the year on that group number, so you don't have to constantly do your credentialing on it or your insurance verification on it every single time. Instead, you're just verifying it one time. Also, clustering. If you're not clustering, oh my gosh, let me help you. Cluster on insurance verification, where you actually take all your Delta Dentals and verify all those at the same time. You cluster your MetLifes and verify those. Don't go all your 8 o'clock patients, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. You'll be verifying forever. And who wants to do that? The answer is nobody. Nobody wants to do that. So cluster these appointments. It's going to help you on insurance verification. Also, insurance verification, the reason I want to bring this one up is because this one is so powerful on helping your case acceptance go up. When we have our insurance verified and we know it's in there, we have it attached to fee schedules. 1, we can see what our goals are for the month, making sure that they're as accurate as they possibly can be. And 2, by verifying that, you actually give confidence to a treatment coordinator. I feel so much more confident talking numbers with my patient when that insurance is verified. It gives me the confidence to say we don't need to send out a pre-D, or in my terms, a pre-denial. We actually are able to maximize it. So if you did not listen to the insurance verification one, or you want a refresher, go back. So we've got number 1 is don't break up with me. Number 2 is from 30% to 100% fluoride acceptance. Number 3 is assisted hygiene with Dr. Deren Flesher. And number 4 is insurance verification. Have you guys heard? But really, have you heard? And are you the type of person that loves to take massive action? Well, if you are, I would love to invite you to Denta A-Team's virtual summit, April 22nd through 23rd. And yes, right now, guys, it's early bird. That means it's $200 off the normal ticket price. You guys are going to learn how to optimize your practice this year. We know it's been a rough year. People have quit. We've had COVID. We've had changes. So we want to teach you guys how to optimize within your practice now and execute. Friday is full team. Saturday is all things leadership. So bring your team, get some CE, take massive action. Head on over to thedentalateam.com. Coupon code is Summit Early Bird, and it's valid until March 31st. That's Summit Early Bird, all one word, and it's valid until March 31st. So guys, head on over. I can't wait to have you take massive action, optimize your practice, and execute. Let's make 2022 your best year. All right, I technically have two number 5s. So does that mean it's a 5 and a 6? I mean, this is the 500th episode. So I'm going to just do it my style. I'll do the 5th and then I'll do a bonus one. How about that? So number 5 would be from 50% to 100% case acceptance in one day. And the reason I love this is because this is something that is not just a one-time, one-off stat. Myself and our team has repeatedly been able to accomplish this in practices. The reason I'm obsessed with case acceptance is because I really want these patients to get the care done. I'm on a moral mission to make the most elite dental practices become even better. We have been termed and coined the miracle grow of dental practices. I know if I walk into your practice, I will grow your practice. I will grow it through profit. I will grow it through happier employees. And I will grow it through a higher and better morale. So everyone's lives are easier, and we're going to be more profitable, and we're going to have a better patient experience. Like, that's a win all the way around. However, I don't want to do it for just any practice. I want to do it for elite practices. Practices who do the best dentistry. Because I know I'm a miracle grow on practices. I know the Dental A-Team is a miracle grow on practices. Our team of consultants, I call it our fleet, right? We're a flying fleet. It's kind of cooler to say that. We literally know how to grow your practice and make you less stressed and be able to help more patients. That's our mission. But we don't want to do it for dentists who are unethical. So if you're unethical, don't call me. I'll see it in your x-rays. I'll know. If you're a dentist who wants to get better at that, call us. We've got tips and resources that we'll happily share with you. But the 50% to 100% podcast is one of the most elite podcasts out there. It shares how we do perfect handoffs. The bottom line is case acceptance actually isn't that hard. It's all about the way we say things to people, and it's all about the psychology behind it. Treatment plans are just psychology, guys. That's it. It's not skill. It's usually just emotions. So if we can get it dialed in on the skill side of doctors presenting it in a way that's easy for the patients to understand and remember, then we're able to pass it through to all of our different team members with a perfect handoff, and then we're able to do sequencing. So meaning, I'm going to schedule first. Then I'm going to talk money. It sounds crazy town, but guess what? You're putting an emphasis on treatment, not an emphasis on money. The other piece about it that's so fun is following up on our treatment plans that don't close and looking for patterns within our treatment tracker. I've been able to help so many doctors increase their case acceptance and help more patients, not because of anything fancy schmancy, but truthfully because they looked at the patterns of the cases they were able to close consistently and the cases, more importantly, that they weren't closing. Then we looked for patterns. Why? Why are you not closing these? Let's listen to your exams. Maybe you're saying it in a way that's not patient friendly. Maybe we're scared of money around it and we need to work through that as to why we're afraid of it. Maybe we just feel uncomfortable that, I just don't want to tell the patient that they have this much work to do. Whatever the reason is, there's a solution to it. But we have to know the patterns in order to create a solution around it. So check that podcast out, 50% to 100% case acceptance, another top hitter in our top 500 podcasts. And now for the bonus one. The bonus podcast that I just think is one that you should listen to again and again and again is It's Okay to Hate Your Job. It's actually titled It's Okay to Blank Your Job. That podcast I created for myself and for all of you to remind myself that as a business owner, as a practice owner, it's okay to hate my job. It's okay not to enjoy what I'm doing. It doesn't mean I'm a failed CEO. It doesn't mean I'm a failed business owner. It just means that I'm human. And I just did a video for a magazine article, and I actually talked about this a little more in depth. And I said, with that, I take oftentimes that hate, the parts that I'm not enjoying, to look for it as opportunities. Why am I not enjoying this? What's causing me to dislike this? And then let's create a solution around that. Oftentimes for me, it's because I don't have enough space in my schedule. We've booked it too full of little meetings, kind of like a dentist with a lot of crown preps. So the solution to that is block scheduling. The solution to that is delegating. Maybe it's bringing on an associate. But if you can look as to why you're not enjoying your job versus do derailing yourself or berating yourself or whatever you do to yourself, telling yourself you're a schmuck, whatever it is, it's okay to hate your job. Just see that as a guidepost for you versus a setback for you. So those, I would say, are the top hitters. There are so many other great ones. We've had so many along the path of 500 episodes. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of a synopsis of some of my favorite podcasts that have been fun for us to record, fun for us to do. Again, if you have not started at the beginning of the Dental A-Team podcast, I'd encourage you to go back and listen to these podcasts to see what's going on, to learn from them. You can also, like I said, go to the search bar, search for topics and listen to those podcasts within that. Again, knowledge is power, but execution trumps knowledge every single day of the week. So are you executing? I don't know about you, but I know if I was a listener, I would definitely have a notes tab on my phone and I would be taking notes. This is actually how I built the podcast. And I'd have a checklist of all the little nuggets that I hear. I do this on books that I read. I write down little nuggets of ideas to do, or I'll email it to myself so that way I can really follow up with it. But I would encourage you guys, write these nuggets down. Today might not be the day for you to execute and implement on it. It might not be. You might have too many other things going on that you should probably prioritize. However, execution trumps knowledge every day. So you got to take this knowledge, get it in an easy to remember format, which is why I would literally put it on my notes with those little checklist bubbles on your phone. And I would start to check them off as I implement them. I would cluster them. So maybe I have a front office section of my notes. And I could do OM, TC, scheduler, biller, dental assistant, hygienist, doctor/associate. And then I'd have a topic for business and a topic for me. That way you can start to sort this. Because in every single podcast, I actually will weave through personal, professional. As you notice, I gave you a lot of tactical podcasts. And I also gave you personal podcasts and business podcasts. So with all of that, that's how I would break up my notes. So then as I'm listening to the podcast, I'm not having to go back. I write down the things that I want to execute from it. Then I probably would bring this up every single quarter when we do our quarterly team meetings. Believe it or not, our company has Kiera's idea page. All these ideas that I hear from podcasts, that I read in books, I can't implement them every single day. Some things I can quickly implement, but a lot of times there's so much knowledge out there and I'm seeking for wisdom that it's oftentimes just the right timing of when to execute. Also, some of these ideas might be similar ideas, so I could cluster them together so that way I can really make sure I'm executing in a way that makes sense. So I'd break it up so I'm taking notes consistently of just the nuggets that will stick for my practice. Not everything on the Dental A-Team podcast is going to be relevant for you. That's coming from the person who records these. It's not. Not all this information is relevant for me. I build it as if I were a team member and a doctor and a business owner of what I would love to have on here, but not everything pertains. Not everything is a good idea for your practice. That's the beauty of it. You have got to learn to sift through this information to be the best business owner, leader, office manager, hygienist, dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, you name it. You've got to sift through this to be the best that you can be. So take notes. Take notes of the things that can be applied to your practice. Then have a set cadence, quarterly, if you will, to actually implement. And if you want to take the shortcut, join Dental A-Team's Platinum, because we'll help you prioritize, figure out what needs to be executed, hold you accountable, give you ownership of this, get your team on board so it becomes much easier and much faster for you guys to execute on it. So you can join us. I'd love to have you. If you've heard a lot of these ideas but maybe haven't taken that action to execute, it's okay. I have a lot of coaches, guys. I hire them for the areas that I want to learn. Doesn't mean you're going to be with us forever. Our goal is to teach you how to fish. That way you can do it on your own without us. But sometimes just having somebody help you sift through the knowledge and know where should I start for the maximum impact. Otherwise, take notes. Write them down. Go back and start listening. There's so much in there for you guys. 500 episodes, and I hope you've loved them. I truly hope you have. They've been a joy for us to create. We'll continue creating them for you. But as always, guys, thank you for being a part of this. Take the knowledge that's there. Go listen to my top 5 and a bonus. I mean, it's technically a top 6, but I want to feel better that I only did a top 5 because it's 500. Or start at the beginning and then take notes and then pull them out each quarter or maybe each month and see which one you could implement for the maximum value and impact. Maybe you can implement this one today. I have an office who listens to this podcast and in tandem coaches with us. They have grown so much as a practice because they're constantly and consistently executing. I don't care if you only executed on one idea a month. As long as you consistently did it, that's a win. So take whatever you need to from today's podcast. Take the wins, go back and listen, take notes, contact us, hello@thedental-A-Team.com. And if you really, really want to spice it up, go leave us a review. Let us know how fantastic this podcast has been for you, life-changing personally and professionally. Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's so fun. Cheers to 500 more. Cheers to making you the best you possibly can be professionally and personally. It's always an honor to be here. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for joining us. And as always, thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time on the Dental A-Team podcast.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental A-Team podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.